everyone! I wanted to show you 3 different beaches in Japan. This first one is south of Usa, near Kochi. It was a pretty rainy day, so please forgive the gloomy overcast sky. Initially, we ended up taking shelter at a lookout point and saw some workers cutting the vegetation down. The shrill sound of the blades definitely gave the impression that the plants were pretty thick. Once the rain stopped, we headed down to Mukaihagi Beach. It was pretty quiet, except for another group of people also exploring the beach. The tide was out, and we saw some little crab holes with little balls of sand that they produce while feeding. The resident was pretty shy and wouldn't come out. There was also a fellow paddleboarding despite the cold weather. There's a tiny crab camouflaged on the sand, just to the left of the white stone. Here's a slow motion replay in case you didn't see him run. Here's a bigger crab, unfortunately not likely to move. It's always fascinating looking in tide pools to see what you can find. And we found what I think is the skeleton of a boxfish, a relative of the pufferfish. This was a lovely walk on a small beach. The next 2 are a little easier to get to. This is Katsurahama, just south of Kochi City. It has a beautiful shore and a small rocky cliff with a lookout point.
Wow, there's a lot calmer since
Yeah.
the last time we were here.
Yeah, very peaceful.
Very gentle.
The previous time we visited was the day before a typhoon, so there were a lot more waves rolling in. This time, the weather was much nicer, so it was great to dip our feet in the water.
Sponge.
was an outlet from the aquarium that's up on the
That
shore.
looks really refreshing.
There's a hat if I want it.
On the rocks, I spotted a number of chitons and shellfish. And this is the view from the lookout point. Lastly, we visited Yuigahama Beach in Kamakura. It's popular even in September, and the air was definitely cooler by the sea. As I mentioned in my previous video, Kamakura is surrounded by mountains, and the sea was one of the few options to reach this place. Now, it's a popular place for surfers. And even windsurfing. It looked like a fun way of traversing the bay, and they reminded me of leafcutter ants. On the shore, a murder of jungle crows found some unguarded things and were rapidly going through, looking for food to eat. It was fascinating taking a moment to see them use their large bills to pick and pry, as well as seeing the hierarchy among them. Meanwhile, the surfer found a decent wave. Having no surfing capabilities of my own, I took my shoes off and just strolled in the water. The late afternoon sun reflected off of the wet sand. We also found a cuttlefish bone. We passed by a couple of boys with two small dogs. The dogs sounded quite panicked as one of the boys went in the water without them. At first, I thought someone had put these barnacles in the box, but then I realized that the container had washed on shore. I also found some small shellfish in the sand. She found small shellfish in the sand by the seashore. It was a little creepy to see them react to the approaching water and burrow back into the sand. It also tickled underfoot, as I could feel them moving about. The boys finally took one of the dogs out on the water. We found a bottle washed on shore with some more shellfish. No misidentifications here. This was definitely a black kite soaring overhead. It was a lovely evening and a great way to end the day. As always, thanks for watching.